Hey everyone, welcome to cookingwithchampagne.com. You know, one of the most versatile ingredients that you can work with is chicken. Who doesn't love chicken? There are literally hundreds of recipes for chicken, whether it's fried chicken, baked chicken, chicken franchise, chicken parmesan. I mean, we could go on and on and on. And one of the most popular and one of my favorites is the roasted rotisserie chicken. Nowadays you can find this in any supermarket, and I think for a lot of people this is the go-to meal for the weeknights, especially if you're working and you have kids and you're getting home late. So today I'm going to show you how to turn this baby into a delicious homemade chicken soup. And now that the cold weather is coming, you are definitely going to want to have this recipe. It's simple and it's quick. So come on, let's turn this baby into a nice hot bowl of chicken soup. So today I'm going to show you how to make a delicious chicken soup with this beautiful rotisserie chicken. I mean, this is so easy. You're going to find yourself wanting to go to this recipe, especially with the cold weather. There is nothing better than being outside in the cold all day and coming home to a nice hot bowl of chicken soup. So I'm going to show you the ingredients that we have here. Right here, I have about 1.5 cups of mesclun lettuce. Now you see this in salads. It's the baby spinach. You have arugula in there, the red leaf lettuce. I like to put it in my soup because I like the pop that it gives the soup and the beautiful color. If you just wanted to do baby spinach or arugula, you could do whatever you like. If you want to omit that, fine. Right here, I have 2 carrots, 2 celery sticks, and a medium-sized squash and a medium-sized yellow zucchini and yellow squash. And it works out to be about 1 cup of each of the veggies. And I have 1 large onion right here. And you'll need 2 garlic cloves. I like to just smash them, put them in the pot because I'm not a big garlic fan. If you like it, chop it up, use as much as you like. This is a turnip, and we're going to peel it and put it in to give the soup flavor. And I have here just a bunch of thyme and 1 beautiful big bay leaf. Now, anytime you're making a soup or a stock or any kind of like stew, you always have to use a bouquet garni. And what it is it's thyme leaves, it's bay leaf, it's cloves of garlic, it's also stems of the parsley, and usually it's wrapped inside of a cheesecloth, and they just submerge it into the soup or the stock or whatever they're making, and then they can pull it out at the end. I don't have cheesecloth today, so that doesn't mean that I'm going to not make the soup. All I'm going to do is throw it in, and you know, the leaves of these beautiful thyme stems are so tender they're just going to fall off, and then I'm just going to fish that out at the end. So let's get started. Right here in my oven, this is a Dutch oven. It's nice and hot. I heated it up. I'm going to put some olive oil, drizzle that, maybe 1/4 cup, because we have a lot of veggies here. And always heat up your pan or your pot. I can smell the olive oil. So right here, the onions and everything that I have, as you can see, are uniform in size. I use the medium dice. Some people don't like their veggies that big. You cut it as small as you'd like. So in here, I'm going to put our onions, and I'm going to smash this garlic, because I like to remove the garlic, and all this is going to do is just give the soup a nice flavor. Then I remove it right here. I'm going to turn this up just a little bit. I have it on medium heat. Now what I'm going to do here is add some salt, because the salt helps to draw out the moisture, and you're just going to add a pinch of that. And I want to stir this around so all of my onions get coated with the olive oil and the salt, and the garlic gets coated as well. So we're going to let that do its thing for about 2 minutes until the onions become nice and tender and translucent. In the meantime, this is my turnip. And all we do with a turnip is wash it. Make sure you wash it. And I just want to peel this and take the outer layer off. And I'm going to cut this in quarters. Usually you put in a turnip and a parsnip to give stock flavor when you're making it from scratch. So I'm going to put this in quarters, and then after it becomes tender, I usually take it out and just chop it up and put it back in the soup. A lot of people use turnips when they're making mashed potatoes too. It's a nice combination of the potato and the turnip. You treat it like a potato, you cut it, put it in the water when you're boiling your potatoes, and it tastes delicious in our soup. So there you go. And this is going to go in when we put the other vegetables in. So it's been about 2.5 minutes, and this is exactly how you want your onions and garlic to be. See that? They're nice and soft and becoming translucent. So now at this point, what I want to do is I want to put my aromatics in. So that is my thyme, my bay leaf, here are my turnips, and I'm going to put in all my veggies. Now I think that I need a little bit more olive oil because we have a lot of veggies, so I'm going to give like a tablespoon more. And all I do is put these in this pot. Make sure we stir this around so everything gets coated. Now because I put in so many vegetables, we season in layers. So that's great. I'm going to add a little bit more salt to this. And this will do the same thing with the veggies, and this is going to help the vegetables to become nice and tender, and it'll draw out its natural moisture. Okay, so we're going to let this do its thing for about 5 to 7 minutes, and right here, because we added so much to the pot, usually the temperature of the pot lowers a little. This is a cast iron pot, so it kind of stays the way it is, but I want to put it up to medium high. And I want my vegetables to get a little bit of color on them. So this way, when we add our stock and our tomatoes, the vegetables have that natural caramelization and it adds flavor. So let's let this do its thing for like 5 to 7 minutes, and we'll come back and check it. So now that we're waiting for our vegetables to cook, get tender and caramelized, perfect time for us to start shredding our chicken. My rotisserie chicken has a little wrapping around its legs, and all we want to do right here basically is just take the cap here. I want to peel the skin off because we don't need the skin, and just start shredding all of the meat off the chicken. So now last Monday, I didn't see you because I was volunteering, and this was the second year that I did it, for the Autism Speaks Chef's Gala at Cipriani's. And what a wonderful night it was. I tell you, it's an event that raises millions of dollars. This was the 4th year that they had it, and some of the most famous chefs from around the world all cook, and they serve. They have like about a table of 10 people, each chef, and the place was packed. It was sold out before it even went online for tickets to be sold. And chefs like Morimoto was there, Tom Colecchio, also Todd English. So many wonderful, fabulous chefs were there. To me, it's a great event because my nephew Andrew is autistic, and there are so many people out there who know what we're talking about when we say autism affects so many families in so many different ways and so many different levels of autism out there. But my nephew Andrew is autistic, and his mom, my cousin Denise, she works at Autism Speaks, and they do a wonderful job of raising money for research for this, sickness, or to try to find a cure for it. So right now, we are just ripping and shredding our chicken. So it's been about 6 minutes, and look at how beautiful our veggies look, and they have some color on them, and look at the bottom of the pan, all that beautiful brown bits. That's flavor. Now to this, what I add here is I have 14 ounces of stewed tomatoes. You can use crushed tomatoes, you can use tomatoes you cut yourself, you can use anything, tomato sauce. If you don't like tomatoes, you can leave it out. We like it, my husband and I, with the tomato in our chicken soup. So I put this in, and I just let this incorporate. What I have here, two 32-ounce containers of fat-free, low-sodium chicken stock. You can buy this anywhere, buy your favorite, and this is what we put inside. Now, when I was shredding the chicken, I'm not finished yet, I'm almost finished. That is a great way for you to get the kids in the kitchen with you, because what kid doesn't like to, you know, play with their food? And shred it and help you do that. That's the perfect way to teach them what it's like to be in the kitchen and to be a part of making the nightly meal. So here's our second one. This has a beautiful golden color, rich flavor. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to fill these both containers about maybe with a cup of water each, and then shake them just to get out the rest of the flavor of the chicken in the container, and we're going to pour that in. So let's fill these up with some water. Here are our containers. I put like a cup of water in each, and now all I'm going to do is just pour that in. So we make sure we get every last good flavor of chicken out of those containers. So right here, just stir it around, and we're going to put this on high because I want this to come to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, we're going to lower it and we're going to simmer it for like 20-25 minutes. Now, in the meantime, get yourself a big spoon, not a slotted one, a regular spoon, like this. And we're going to use this bowl because as this comes to a boil and then we lower it to a simmer, you're going to see a lot of the impurities that are going to raise up to the top of the soup. And you want to skim those off. This way your soup remains beautiful and clear and pristine, okay? So let's cover this, bring it to a boil, and then lower it and simmer it. And in the meantime, we'll finish shredding our chicken. So I'm just about finished shredding all of the chicken meat off the chicken bones. Now, if you feel, this is how much I got out of that chicken. If you're serving more than 4 people, I would say use 2 chickens and shred that meat. But for me and Joe and maybe one other person, 2 other people, this is great. So what I do right here is I like to add a little bit of adobo, about a 1/4 teaspoon, because that's another layer of flavor. Just a little bit, pinch, some pepper, and then I'll take it and just mix this around to make sure that the chicken gets incorporated with your seasoning. And we just set this to the side until it's time to go into the soup, because remember, this is already cooked. This will just warm up in the soup. So there's our chicken. Now let's get to our delicious Italian bread croutons. So this is my beautiful loaf of Italian bread, and what we're going to do right here with a serrated knife is, I'm going to cut off the end, but I want to cut these on a diagonal because it gives you a larger surface space. I have my oven preheated. It's at 350 degrees, and we're just going to toast these off. Let's take the first 2 pieces, put it to the side, and you want to make these about, I say, a 1/2 inch. All we want to do right here is a little salt, just a little pepper. And just mix this around, and then we're just going to brush the tops of our baguettes. So I have my baguettes brushed with the olive oil. Now all I'm going to do is sprinkle this lightly with some Parmesan cheese, Parmigiano Reggiano, and then we're going to get these in the oven. My soup came up to a boil, and I just lowered it to simmer. And we're going to let that simmer for about 20-25 minutes. Okay, in the oven they go. Now remember, keep your eye on these because they'll burn fast. So my soup right here, it came up to a boil and I lowered it. And as you can see right here, I took a piece of the carcass of the chicken that we peeled and I just put it right in here. And that's going to give it more flavor too. You don't have to do that. but I like to do that. So right here, I'm just going to skim off whatever's coming to the top. So now if you like pasta in your soup, which I do and my husband likes it, some people don't, I suggest, and the way I do it is I cook my pasta separately. Now this is a half of a box of ditalini, and I cooked this off this morning in salted water. When it was finished al dente, I just drained it and I put it in here and I just drizzled it very lightly with a little bit of olive oil so it stays nice and moist and it doesn't all coagulate together. Some people, when they use the macaroni and cook it, they cook it right in the soup, and that's fine. But for me, I feel that when you do that and the pasta remains in the soup, it drinks up a lot of the chicken broth and it becomes very mushy. So what I do is I put a nice tablespoon or two in the bottom of the dish, and then when the soup is done, I ladle the soup in. Pasta's already cooked. This way your pasta stays al dente and it doesn't drink up all of the stock and get mushy into the soup. So that's what I have here. So we're just going to put this to the side and let's go check on our baguettes. So here are our beautiful toasted Italian bread baguettes that have the olive oil, a little salt and pepper, and our grated cheese. And these are just going to sit here and wait for us until we plate up our soup. Now in the meantime, our soup is almost done. I've been skimming, and a lot of the fat comes to the top, and whatever impurities, I've been skimming them off, and as you can see, a lot of the thyme stems released their leaves, and you just pick them out as you see them. So this is almost done, and then we're going to come back and plate the whole thing. So here are the turnips that we put into the soup that I just quartered. Now these are nice and tender. Some people don't like it, they just take it out and discard it, but I like it, and all I do is I just cut these into cubes. Now these are only done. Chunk these, look like little pieces of potato, and put these right back in to finish cooking with the rest of the soup. So that's all. This is just about ready for our chicken and our greens. So if you could see right here, as I've been skimming, a lot of the thyme stems released. If you find a thyme stem that didn't release, all you have to do is take your tongs, hold it, and just run it down, and it'll release the leaves. But right here, I've been skimming, and a lot of the oil floats to the top. And we definitely want to degrease our soup, and that's what I've been doing. Take that out, and I put in a little piece of the chicken carcass, which is right here, just to give it a little bit more flavor. And I'm just going to fish this out, and that goes in. So here are our greens. It's about 1.5 cups of the mesclun. I'm just going to stir this in. Look at how nice that looks. All those beautiful fall and winter colors. That looks so good and so healthy. This goes in because this is already cooked, and all we want to do here is just warm this through. And look at that. How good does that look? So let's give this about 5 minutes to warm up the chicken, and then we're going to plate this baby up. So our soup is done. I turned off the heat, let the chicken and the greens just sit in this beautiful broth, and just left it on simmer for about 2 minutes, shut it off, and let it stand for about 5 minutes. So all of the flavors can just settle and incorporate. So now before we serve this, we definitely want to taste it to make sure it doesn't need anything. Salt, pepper, maybe a little bit more adobo. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. But that's what you test for. Maybe you like it a little saltier, a little bit more garlic powder, whatever, onion powder. So test it. Right here, here is my pasta. And I'm going to put some of this at the bottom of the bowl. as much as you like. And now let's ladle our delicious soup. Ooh, that looks good and healthy for you. And we made this out of a rotisserie chicken. They did all the work by cooking the chicken for you. Look at the carrots and the celery. Boy, that looks good. So, right here, I will dress this with some delicious cheese, grated cheese, and of course, we're going to use one of our baguettes. We're just going to put that right in there like that. How good does that look? On a cold winter's day, wouldn't you love to come home and be served this nice hot bowl of homemade chicken soup? I know I would. So let's taste it. Here's our pasta, our veggies, and give me a piece of chicken, please. Ooh, this is hot. It's good. The chicken warms through. It's still tender, not overcooked because we didn't boil it. The vegetables are al dente. The soup and the broth taste delicious, a little bit spicy. I love it. And here is our crouton that we made with our Italian bread. So everyone, thank you so much for stopping by and spending time with me here at cookingwithchampagne.com. You can download the recipe. I know you're going to use this recipe over and over and over again because the cold weather is about to come in, and this is the perfect meal for a cold winter's night. So next time you're in the supermarket and you have your eye on that rotisserie chicken, just think about the things that you could do with it. And you know we can't end the show without a champagne toast to good eating. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you soon.